everyone, Alexa Donne here. I am a traditionally published author, and today I'm going to talk a bit about my writing process. I realized I haven't actually done a video on this. I've had this channel for over a year and I've never actually done a concrete video on my writing process. And there have been a lot of discussions on AuthorTube lately about kind of transparency and kind of what a professional writing process looks like or doesn't look like or can look like. And I wanted to offer you more insight into how I actually write a book. What are the norms for me? And offer you the reassurance that I have a book published with a big New York publisher, and I am not a perfect writer with a perfect process. So first of all, I don't outline. And so often you hear, oh, you have to plan your books ahead of time. You must outline. That's what professional writers do. This professional writer doesn't. It's technically called pantsing, and I have, of course, preached this on my channel many times. Other people call it discovery writing, which I think is a really great way to put it. I discover the story as I write it. I always start with a little bit of something. I know my premise, of course. I tend to know my main characters and my love interest, and I have some sense of the world building. There is prep that goes into my projects, and I know the inciting incident, and usually to start, I need to know kind of the midpoint twist. But beyond that, I don't really plan things scene to scene. I often don't know my ending, and I just enjoy the discovery process of writing. This is how I make writing fun for me, because writing can be such a slog. It can be really hard, especially when you're second guessing all the words you put on the page, and I second guess the words I put on the page all the time. I'm also here to tell you, I think I'm garbage a lot, and that's normal. It's normal and natural to write something and go, ugh, that's awful. How pedestrian. Oh, you're using crutch words and filter words and adverbs and all the things you're not supposed to do. Oh, that paragraph, that whole paragraph is an info dump, Alexa. And I use the fun of, okay, yes, but what's gonna happen next? Keep going, fix it later. I use that to keep me going. And of course I use the carrot of fix it later to keep going. I love revision. I love problem solving, which is actually the reason that I think this drafting style does work for me. It's problem solving. It's just problem solving in the moment. So that is how I make drafting work for me and why I enjoy revision. And I will say, if you enjoy revision, it does make being professionally published a little bit easier because you almost always have to do substantive rewrites to your book. I mean, nothing crazy, but there's always something that can be reworked or improved upon. So liking revision does help a little. So I am here to reassure you that I write slowly. Not like 2 snails pace. I've never spent more than, say, a year and a quarter or a year and a half on a first draft, but my average is 9 months to a year. That's just normal for me. I write a little bit, not quite every day. So that's the other thing. I don't write every day. When I'm actively drafting, I try to write every day. It's always my intention and my goal. But I don't beat myself up if I can't quite do it, because we all have lives, normal lives outside of writing. Whether you have a family or you're going to school or you have a day job like me, or just having friends and social needs or needing a day off because you really want to binge a show on Netflix. All of that is okay. I give myself permission not to be a total workhorse. I try to write every day, and then if I can't, I try not to skip more than 3 days in a row. Writing is all about forming a habit. And so I do try to, in the drafting stage, basically form a drafting habit. But my word counts. We're gonna talk about my word counts. It does bug me when I see people say, you have to write at least 1,000 words a day to be a real writer, or gosh, if they have even higher numbers, I just start to black out from panic. Because some days I have shockingly low word counts, and I just want to share this with you so that you know that it's normal and okay, and that you can actually finish books writing slowly over a longer period of time, and those finished books can be published by a real publisher. So I'm just gonna open up to a random day in my passion planner, and I'm gonna tell you more about how I track my word counts in a moment. Let's see, this was January 2018, so I was on deadline for my second book, which is called The Stars We Steal. It comes out next year. On a Saturday, well, first of all, I didn't write the first 5 days of the month. Then on Saturday, I wrote 251 words. The next day, I wrote 575. Pretty good. The next day, 663. Oh, you can tell this is when I was told I had a real deadline. Then I wrote 625 words, but then the next day, I wrote 277 words. This was a pretty average month. Most of these days did not break 1,000 words. Ooh, look, there was a day where I wrote 103 words, and then I skipped 3 days. I was traveling. Then I wrote 182 words. And so I was traveling. I actually had to go to a book event. And so the day before, 103 words. And 2 days after I got home, I wrote 182. And I patted myself on the back, to be honest, because that was a really tough week in which to write. And then I did make up for it on the weekend. That Saturday, I wrote 1,642 words. So it's not necessarily about writing a ton of words every single day, but going at the pace that makes sense for you and kind of following not so much your creative muse, but kind of doing what you can when you can, and then kicking yourself in the butt when you need to. I do make up for lower writing count days on weekends now. I didn't always do that, but that is how I got through my book deadline this time. Which brings me to how I keep track of my word counts and motivate myself to write more. So let me show you January in my planner. Ta-da! I write down my word counts for each day, and then I give myself a little shiny star. These stars. I call this the star sticker method. It's something I picked up from Victoria Schwab years ago and have kind of customized to work for me. I give myself a star for every 500 words that I write. It's kind of a motivation because who doesn't like getting a gold star, and it helps me keep track of what I'm doing. It also motivates me to write more because if there's a day where I'm really close to the edge of getting a star sticker or another star sticker, I'm more likely to push myself to write more to get that sticker that I want. So you can kind of see the next month, this is February, I got a lot more stickers because I wanted them so bad, plus my deadline was real. But regardless, I still accomplished a full draft, 86,000 words, where some days I only wrote 100 words, but those 100 words still counted. They pushed me forward. It was doing something instead of nothing. Which brings me to the other part of my writing process, which is when I write. So I am a nighttime writer. You hear a lot that people say, oh, I get up at 5 in the morning and write an hour before work or so on. I love sleep. I hate mornings. I'm definitely a night person, so I don't do that. I write at night. So every night I come home from work, I eat dinner, I watch a little bit of television, and then I turn everything off at 10 p.m. and I tend to work from 10 p.m. till midnight. Just so happens my brain is really clicking at the time of day. That's my writing process. You should really go with whatever works for you. But then, sometimes it's not just about what works for you. It's about getting stuff done. So it really helped me on writing my last book that I am going to continue to do. It also helped get me through my revision is when I really have to get work done, words on the page or pages revised, I go to my local coffee shop and I spend 4 to 5 hours there, and I can usually get at least 2,000 words done. So if you look at my weekends in this planner, or I should say, I can get at least 1,000 words done, which is more than my average weekday word count, right? So my Saturdays and Sundays are all the days I went to the coffee shop. This is from March 2018. I wrote 1,567 words, 1,609 words, 2,045 words, 2,062, 1,062, 1,524. I just want to share my best day ever, which was in February. But it was a coffee shop day, and I wrote 4,000 words in a single day, which is huge for me. Huge. And actually, the day before, I wrote 2,044 words, which made it a 6,000 word weekend. So that is to say, you can kind of break out of what was your writing routine, create new writing routines, and switch it up to push yourself to write more. That's what I had to do to make my writing process be more efficient and work better based around my timing. So that is how I write a book, basically. I don't really plan. I plan a little. I don't write massive word counts. It takes me about 9 months to write a book. I started this book last July, so July 2017, and I turned it in on April 1st, 2018. And then, of course, I had to revise it multiple times, which is another view into my process. I will say part of discovery writing for me does mean more rewrites, but I enjoy every step of the process. I don't really regret anything. Yeah, that is how me, this person, a professionally published writer, writes books. It's weird. It works for me. And it's definitely possible to be slower, write fewer words, write at night, not write every day, and still finish stuff. What I really want to communicate by sharing my process is that any process is valid, whatever your process is. Now, of course, there are always ways to improve your process or to hack your process, to make it more efficient or push yourself more, change as a writer. But I really hate this culture that we have in kind of the writing community of saying, oh no, the way you do it is wrong. It's only good if you're fast and you are disciplined with yourself and you write X number of words a day. You should be writing 50,000 words a month. And yes, sometimes you do. I have accomplished Nano once. And only once. But wow, it was a great month, but it's not always possible for all people or for all books to do that. You should just kind of follow the flow of that time in your life, of the specific story. If it compels you to write 50,000 words in a month, go for it. But if you can only write 20,000 because you're writing a little bit every day, do that too. Let me know down below in the comments any questions you have about my writing process, or share what works for your writing process. What do you do to get words on the page? Are you a slower writer, a faster writer? What's your kind of average word count for a day, and like what's your best day ever? Clearly, mine was 4,000 words. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll try to, do more videos that are kind of, transparent about what actually goes into writing a book. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, I post new videos 2 to 3 times a week. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and happy writing.